Hi everyone, I thought I would do a quick tutorial on how I create my lesson plans from the Albieri's lesson plan document. And so I have a 2B student, and what I do is, the plans that we have here in the Albieri are very, very extensive, and they're really written for a person who has never implemented this methodology before, or maybe is not familiar with a particular subject area. And so for those who are familiar with it, we can make some edits to this to make it a little bit more printable and readable on any given day during our school year. So if you've never done Charlotte Mason before, you've never used the Albieri, then printing the plans as is very helpful because it tells you exactly what to say, what to ask, what to read, how to recapitulate, how to talk about things at the end. But if you have experience with the Albieri prior to this, or again with the methodology, then there are some edits that we can make in another spreadsheet program, but using the lesson plans that will make this, like I said, a lot easier. So we're going to get, for example, the Citizenship lesson plan for stories from the history of Rome, for, again, Form 2B, down to 1 page printable. Right now, it's probably 3 or 4 pages. But what we're going to do is we're going to end up looking like this. Very, very short. So I'm actually going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to delete what's inside of it, and I'm going to show you how I got to that point. So the first thing that I do is I kind of create a basic spreadsheet. Now I'm using Mac numbers here, but you can do this in Excel. Or OpenCalc, which is a free spreadsheet program online. But what I do is I just create a blank spreadsheet, and I like to, format it with kind of header columns and header rows. But I put the name of the book up here, Stories from the History of Rome, and I do this so that I don't have to keep repeating it throughout the lesson plan. So I think I've actually mistitled it. It needs to be Stories from the History of Rome. So I'll fix that. And then I go to the lesson plan from the Albieri. Okay, so what I do is I just select that first cell. And if I wanted to put in here, by the way, on my spreadsheet that, I need to spend 20 minutes on this, I could do that. But I just delete all of this information because I don't need it. I know the book that I'm using, and I know the title of the class. And I just select this first cell, and then just scroll with the mouse all the way down, hold the shift button, and click all 11 cells. And you see in here that I have 11 cells right here. So I'm just going to highlight all of those. And of course, we don't have week 12 because that's exam week. And then I can just right click and do paste, or you can do a Control V as a shortcut. And I paste all of those lessons in. Now, with a couple of exceptions, like this funny little character right here, you're going to get exactly what was in that lesson plan. And now here's where we can begin to do our edits. So again, these first 3 or 4 lines, 5 lines of information are superfluous. I know I'm going to look at some of these things on the map because that's just our habit now. But if you want to, you can keep that information. I delete the first, this first lines. And then where it says lesson, introduction, I delete this part too, because, I guess I should say I can kind of describe what the book is about to my child. If you've actually gone through the process of looking through the lesson plans, it's not difficult for you to pick up the context of the book, and you can explain that to your children. So I delete that as well. I do keep the names that I know that we're going to read about this week. You can keep this question. I generally don't, these kind of prompting questions, but you're more than welcome to if you feel like that's helpful to you. And then I actually delete the read line as well. And I just keep the building of Rome because I can see that there's a chapter title and a chapter assignment, and the assumption is I'm going to read that. After post-reading, we orally narrate, have a grand conversation. Again, these are things that are habits now, so I don't really need to be instructed again to do that because it is a habit. This extension, though, I do keep, because if we do have some time at the end or we have some time in the afternoon, I want to go look at these places on the map. and or maybe go look at some of these pictures. So now I'm going to go to week 2, and I'm going to do basically the same thing. It says Cue Picture, but I see it's down here at the bottom, so I'm just going to delete that. I always recapitulate with the children. That means that they are just telling me again what happened the previous week in that previous lesson. I'm going to keep the names we're talking about this week. Delete this. Delete the oral narration and the grand conversation. Keep the extension because this is a nice picture study. Anytime I see a picture study or a map, I know that that link is going to be on the master sheet, so I just delete that line as well. That becomes obviously a much tighter bit of information that I don't have to then I don't have to print all of that out. So I'm going to delete. I'm just going to do a couple more of these things. You know, again, to say, I wonder what will happen in our story. That's just a prompt to help them recapitulate, and so I'm not going to use that. I do keep some vocabulary if I feel like that would be helpful to define for the children. Okay, so you see how we're just really, really tightening this up and not having to do nearly as much in the printing. Okay, so when I'm done with all of this, it's going to look like this. Okay, and instead of printing 3 or 4 pages, I'm now only printing 1 page, as you can see, and maybe I need to do it depending on how many readings you have on a particular page. Maybe I need to do it 8.5 by 11 portrait, or maybe I need to do it landscape, and then I can also lessen my margins if I need to. But this gets everything on 1 page. I print this out, I put this in my Form 2B notebook for myself, and then as we go through week 1, I just strike it off. In week 2, I just strike it off. And this really saves paper, and still ensures that I'm going back and looking at all the different resources from the Master Links page. So hope this helps.